start off by giving a high-level overview of what the project is. So it's a scalable streaming data platform. So the idea is to be able to run it both locally on your laptop and also scale up to cloud, which is what I've been working on recently. It's a streaming platform, so it uses technologies like Kafka as a message bus, and then Flink for real-time processing. I'm running it all on Kubernetes, and I've got it running at the moment on AWS, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But the use case I've used as an example of this platform is Twitter sentiment analysis. So I have an application running on Flink which reads tweets in real time into a Kafka topic. And then I've got a Python model which calculates the sentiment of these tweets and adds them onto it. And I've got a user interface in front of it as well. There's also some other use cases that I kind of thought of, things like in COVID, tracking lockdown through traffic, looking at weather data, how that affects lockdown, air quality, stuff like this. I haven't got that far yet, it's not finished, but I thought I'd show you what I'd got so far. So I'm going to just jump onto AWS. So as I mentioned, every service is running on Kubernetes. This is a really good container management tool. So everything runs in pods and you can scale it up really nicely. So the AWS have a managed EKS service, Elastic Kubernetes something. And I've got a cluster running here called Twitter Streaming, as you can see on the screen. Kubernetes has a nice dashboard, which is this one, and you can see all the different services which are running, each in their own pod. So we have Flink is the task manager and job manager. We have Kafka and Zookeeper. Then we have Elasticsearch and Kibana. So if you haven't heard of these, Elasticsearch indexes messages, and then Kibana allows you to display that on a dashboard. So in here, anything that falls over will automatically be spun back up, and you can also scale them out if you needed more nodes to run a particular service. So I think probably the best one to start with is this one. So Python has a package called Flask, which allows you to basically develop web front ends in Python. So it's super easy. So I've just got quite a simple search bar here and then a link to the Kibana dashboard. In this search bar, you can type different phrases. So you can see I've got currently Trump here just because there's tons and tons of tweets about Trump, most of which are negative. But then you've also got, like earlier, I ran Sainsbury's. And what happens when you type in search terms here is it will spin up a Flink job. So as I mentioned before, I have two Flink jobs. I've got one for gathering the tweets from Twitter API, and one for running the Python model, which calculates the sentiment on all of those tweets in that topic. So where I just typed in Sainsbury's, it's basically spun up these two Flink jobs, and this is the Flink dashboard, which you can see right now. And then if we go into, this is the Kibana dashboard, which visualizes everything in Elasticsearch. I'm a bit hesitant to refresh this because it was quite slow before, because I've got this kind of proxy running on my laptop to access it. I haven't opened up AWS to the web, but you can see here all of the tweets, and you can click in one and it gives you kind of all the details. Like this is one from when I was running search on Trump earlier. This score is what it calculates from the sentiment analysis model. So it'll give you either a positive, negative, or a neutral sentiment. and you get the details like the time of the tweet, the text, and also some tweets give you a geolocation. You can then filter this based on different searches, like I've done some running this morning on Trump, some running on Sainsbury's. Then I've got a dashboard which I've created. So this has a few little visualization. So we've got a map up here. So I'm currently looking at Sainsbury's. So you can see there's some positive sentiment in the southeast of England for Sainsbury's. And out of, I don't actually have a total on here. I think there was like 50 tweets when I was running it. 50% negative. These colors are pretty misleading, aren't they? Green is negative on this. 50%, 25% neutral, 25% positive. And you also get a little word cloud, so you can see all the common words associated with Sainsbury's and tweets. And I can do a similar thing, changes to Trump. Key. So you can see a lot more kind of going on in the US here. We've got red is actually positive in this case because I haven't sorted that out. But you can see that this is the locations of the tweets and the sentiment, and these are the kind of common words which are associated with tweets that include Trump. You've got quite a lot about vaccines and boosters and stuff. So that is basically the use case here that I've gone through. So I've got the Kubernetes, you've got the Flask app, you've got the Flink applications, and the Elasticsearch dashboard. I'll just give a quick overview of what this looks like in the code, and afterwards I'll also share a link to this because this is all on GitHub, but I haven't sanitized it all yet because there's got credentials for Twitter and stuff, but I will push that for you. So I can start with the Flask app. So it's basically this Python file, and when you send different requests to that URL, you'll get these different responses, and you have HTML pages which you store in here, and the formatting and stuff. So this is quite a nice way of doing a web front end in Python. Then we also got the Flink apps, which are written in Scala. Scala's based on the Java virtual machine, and it's pretty good for data engineering stuff. So the Kafka producer for the Twitter is basically this. So you give it in your search term, which comes from that Flask search bar, and it will poll Twitter API for any tweets, including that search term. And then it puts it into a Kafka topic with the name of the search term. So the name would be Sainsbury's. And then this is the other Scala app, which is the sentiment analysis. And this basically maps each tweet into what's called a case class, which is something classic to Scala. So it's kind of like a class-based way of doing things. And this is all the fields in the tweet. And then we do all this mapping down here. And then we deposit that into another topic in Kafka for the sentiments. And that's what Elasticsearch indexes using Kafka Connect. Kubernetes, we have all the deployment stuff in here. So I've got some stuff for the Kubernetes dashboard on AWS. And then I've got two sets of Kubernetes YAMLs. I've got one for Minikube. So you can deploy this all on your local laptop rather than having to pay for AWS. And you've also got one for the Elastic Kubernetes service. And each service has a deployment YAML. like this, which contains certain configuration, and the Docker image which you're pulling from, and then also a service to keep it up and running if it goes down. I've also got loads of scripts in here to do various things like build Docker images and like start the Docker machine, look at Kafka queues, stuff like that. And there was also, originally I started doing it with Docker Compose. So there's also a Docker Compose one here that you can run, but Kubernetes was much better for putting onto cloud.